Hey everyone, happy Tuesday. I hope you're having a great week so far. Off the Rail Sports with Bert Beiswanger. I am Bert Beiswanger. What a connection. Uh, hey, it's been another great weekend of football for here locally with the Colts and IU just completely rolling. IU, I thought that game would be a little closer than it was. Not close, but 28 and a half points close. Wasn't. It was none of that. And so, UCLA IU look like they've looked recently, and UCLA look like a team playing at 9 a.m. local time, their time, um, because it was just not good out of the gate, and it didn't get any better. So IU keeps rolling. The Colts keep rolling. That was another one. That line was about 14 and a half points, and which is a lot for the NFL. We see all kinds of crazy things happen in the NFL all the time. So I did not think, well, that was a game I didn't want to touch. But once again, another week where you could be making tons of money off the Colts this year because basically all their players are hitting their numbers, hitting their marks, contributing, even when the totals aren't yardage, receiving, or what have you is not high for any particular player. They still are making really key plays like Alec Pierce. Alec Pierce gets 37, 40 yards maybe in a game, so not a lot. But when he catches the ball, they always seem to be very significant and awesome receptions. And so Daniel Jones continues to just he's I hate saying manage the game because he's doing more than that clearly, but he's taking care of business and he's not making mistakes. And when he does make plays, they're usually the right decisions. And guys this year went from last year not having people that would catch the ball often enough when it was hitting them in the hands. You change a lot of that with just ignoring all the other tight ends and sticking in Tyler Warren because that guy catches just about everything. But Pittman, a couple fantastic catches on one of the touchdown drives, and like I said, Alec Pierce and others. They're Josh Downs. They're just all making plays. A lot of MVP talk already. Hey, you know what? We're just getting to the halfway point, so I know there's a lot of talk. It's always got to be a quarterback. I feel like pretty much. But Jonathan Taylor's MVP on this team, in my opinion. And frankly, which you which you can't give an MVP to is the offensive line, but a lot of that production is Taylor, but it's also the offensive line. And this offensive line is playing at an elite level, particularly in pass protection, because I say that because last year they weren't, and that was an untold story last year is that the offensive line, from snap to pressure, was one of the I think bottom third in the NFL. But that's not the case this year, and so they're doing their jobs. Guys are doing their jobs, and on and on. Hey, MLB playoffs have continued to be fantastic. I've loved it. I said going into this thing that I was looking so forward, and I think the MLB playoffs are the most underrated playoffs. I've said that before, and I continue to say that. The Dodgers Brewers series in the NLCS wasn't exciting, but other than that, it's been fantastic, including this World Series. Last night's 18-inning marathon capped with a game-winning walk-off homer by Freddie Freeman. And Shohei Ohtani continues to just roll and do things that are amazing. Two home runs, including a first pitch after they were at the mound talking to the pitcher. You can basically say, here's our strategy with Shohei Ohtani. We're not going to intentionally walk him, but don't give him anything to hit. And the first pitch, a center cut fastball, waist high, not even moving, just straight down, I don't know, just left center and of the plate, or I'm sorry, right center of the plate. And it was smashed by no surprise. So, Shohei Ohtani, the greatest player of all time. I said it. We talk about MVP awards and Cy Young awards every year. Shohei could have won both, in my opinion. Should have, frankly, a couple years ago. I think he got the MVP and they didn't give him the Cy Young. I think as what you got to give the guy the MVP and then Cy Young goes to, pitcher, and I don't know. It was a tight one, but he could have won both awards. Suffice to say, he's not only the best player in my generation, I'm going to go and say he's the best player of all time. And I think there should be a new award, best player of all time. And if the living player, if the one who has that award bestowed upon them, and I'm saying Shohei Ohtani should, then you get the award. Until otherwise, until maybe Showtime's 65 years old, 70 years old, and there's another up and comer that's takes the award from you. But best of all time, can't do that every year because that wouldn't make any sense, right? That's what the Player of the Year is for, MVP, all that kind of stuff. But best of all time should be an award, and it should go to Shohei Ohtani. He's pitching tonight, and the last time he pitched, Showtime hit 3 home runs at the plate and had 10 Ks on the mound. Now, if you can find me another player at any point in time that can do that and did do that, bring him to me. Otherwise, no, he's the best. Looking forward to this game, and this series continues to be awesome. Hate to see George Springer hurt for the Blue Jays. He has really played well this playoffs, particularly in place of not having Bo Bichette. But Bichette's back. They lose Springer. That stinks. All right. Final thing, Pacers, rough start, and these guys, I don't know. They had a bunch of centers who are nothing more than, I would say, third line centers, and now they don't have any point guards, and I don't know, what they're gonna do. The center thing, they just got rid of James Wiseman, which surprised me a little bit because he was the first center off the bench last year when they signed him, and I thought it was a sneaky pick. He's coming off Achilles injury, and maybe he just I don't think of James Wiseman as the fourth in line of the 4 centers they have on their team, but maybe he's just not coming along from a health standpoint. It doesn't matter. Losing Miles Turner hurt. I'm not saying they shouldn't have lost him. It is what it is, but they did, and he was always going to be hard to replace, and now without Tyrese Haliburton, it was going to even be harder to run this offense. And now I don't know. Mathin's hurt, Nembhard's hurt, Connell's hurt. I don't know. The list goes on. So it's going to be a rough go for the Pacers. All right, we'll talk more about that and more specifically about football and also the Breeders' Cup coming up this weekend. I always point to the horse. Like, that's not a Breeders' Cup calendar up there. But it is Santa Anita calendar. So, but we're looking forward to the Breeders' Cup coverage, all coverage on Peacock, FanDuel TV. FanDuel TV. I was trying to think. And then some split coverage between USA Network and NBC. The Breeders' Cup is the best. If you're a casual sports fan and watch like the Kentucky Derby and just all the races that day, this is another day to do it. Friday and Saturday, but particularly Saturday, the coverage will be awesome. It's the best of the best. 14 races, all disciplines, ages of horses, distance, short, long, turf, dirt, everything, culminating with the Breeders' Cup Classic. I say culminating, it's actually not the last race this year because of TV coverage, but the Breeders' Cup Classic is going to be a fantastic race, as will all of them. So do yourself a favor, take in some horse racing this weekend, get those accounts loaded up, TK Horse, FanDuel Racing, Twin Spires, whatever you use. All right. Have a good week, everyone. We are going to talk soon, and we're going to talk more football as we get closer to that part of the week. Take care. Get a leg up no matter what you're doing. Off the Rail Sports. Have a good day.